late August, Google is making a major change to the way that advertisers currently run product listing ads on both Google and Google Shopping. It is imperative as an advertiser that you know about these changes and get your campaign set up before that August deadline. So this course is going to offer you all of the ins and outs that you need to know about shopping campaigns to make sure that you are ready for this transition, that you have your campaigns built out, your data feeds optimized, and going through and showing you how these new features will affect the way that you're managing your product listing ads. But let's first talk about the two campaign types and some of the things that are going to change with these. So product listing ad campaigns, that was the traditional way of running product listing ads. So you'd create a search campaign, set the campaign type to product listing ads, and then you would categorize your products based on product targets. These are going to be retired in late August, so you can still run these right now, but in late August, everything will transition into shopping campaigns. So shopping campaigns are the new method of running your product listing ads. They have a lot more advanced features that are available to advertisers to allow you to more easily manage and optimize your ads within your campaigns. So let's talk about first, what is not changing with this transition of campaigns? So what is not changing is that product listing ads are still product listing ads. So the ads appear in the same places, the same networks, they're going to look the same, the auction is staying the same for product listing ads. The ads themselves, there isn't going to be a change to. So product listing ads, still product listing ads. What is going to change, though, is how you manage and optimize these product listing ads. So with this change from PLA to shopping campaigns, you're going to see a more retail-centric way of managing your PLAs. So for example, you're going to be able to look at the entire inventory of your products within AdWords itself instead of having to refer back to your data feed. There's also going to be more powerful reporting within the AdWords interface for shopping campaigns, and this is going to include the ability to see some competitive data. So how are you doing versus other people that are showing product listing ads for those same search terms, as well as some advanced optimization options that were not available in product listing ad campaigns. Another change is that you will now be using product groups instead of product targets to help segment your inventory, and we'll go through specifics on product groups in a little bit. Custom labels are going to be replacing AdWords labels and AdWords groupings. So what you need to know as an advertiser is that if you are currently utilizing the AdWords labels or AdWords grouping columns in your data feed, these will no longer be recognized with the transition to shopping campaigns. So what you need to do is instead take advantage of the new custom labels that are going to be available and put those into your feed so that you can label and group your inventory however you need to. Next, there's going to be inventory filters instead of product filters. These are going to work essentially the same way, but it's just a difference in the naming convention. And then a completely new idea is campaign priority levels. So if you have multiple campaigns that are advertising the same products, you can now set different priority levels for your campaigns. Now the structure, think of this similar to a regular search campaign, but instead of keywords, you are bidding on those product groups that I mentioned. Again, product groups are replacing product targets. So at the campaign level, you have your shopping campaign. Then you can segment down into different ad groups. And then within each ad group, you have your different product groups. And this is where you place your bid. So every product group that you set up is going to have a unique bid that is completely determined by you. So for example, if we had a shopping campaign for all of the athletic shoes that we carry, we can segment our ad groups by running shoes and cycling shoes, and then we can have our list of our product groups based on the different brands of running shoes that we offer and have a bid specifically on those. So we can bid differently on Nike. Let's say we have a better return on Nike than Adidas, so you can bid higher on Nike and a little bit lower on Adidas. Same thing with the cycling shoes, segmented out by brand. Now when we're going through and setting up the shopping campaign settings, A lot of the settings are going to be very similar to regular PLA or search campaigns. So you have your location targeting, your language, all of that is going to be similar. But there are some things that are changing within the shopping campaigns. So the very first thing is going to be which campaign you choose from the drop-down menu. So when you're on the campaigns tab in AdWords, you click on new campaign, there's now going to be an option called shopping. So it's its own completely brand new campaign type. You no longer select search from the drop-down menu. You do have different networks that are available, so you can show on both Google Search and Search Partners, but you can exclude the search partners if you want to. You also are going to need to choose a merchant identifier. So you want to make sure that you're selecting the right Google merchant account for this campaign. You can have different Google merchant accounts tied to your AdWords, so you just want to make sure you're selecting the correct Google merchant number for your campaign. Next, you have to set your country of sale. So if you have a list of products in your inventory and some of them are only sold in certain countries, this is where you're going to select what country of sale products you want to show in this campaign. So it's only going to show, if we choose the United States, products from our inventory that is available in the United States. Things you have to remember is that you cannot change this after setup, and only one country of sale can be selected per campaign. So you do want to make sure that you have this setting correct before you hit save and continue. Now, campaign priority, that is one that I mentioned earlier, and we'll talk a little bit more about that specifically, but this is optional, so you don't have to set your campaign priority. If you don't, it's going to default to low, but I do recommend that you use it. It's going to be a great tool to help you make sure that the right products are showing at the right times. Next is your inventory filter. Again, this is optional as well. If you don't set an inventory filter, then all of your products are going to be eligible to show for that campaign. But you can use inventory filters in order to segment your products based on brand or based on product ID, based on any custom labels that you have set up. So that way your campaign is only targeting a subset of your products. And then you're going to choose your shopping channels. So this is only going to apply to advertisers who are running both online and local product feeds. So if you do have those two different feed types, then you just want to make sure that you're choosing the right one. If you only have your online feed, then you just choose online. So let's talk a little bit about the campaign priority levels. There are 3 that are available to you: low, medium, or high. And if you don't select one, it's going to default to low. And to understand how these work, I'm going to take a look at an example. So this is only going to apply when there are multiple campaigns that have the same product that's eligible to show within the campaigns. So let's take a look at this first example over here on the left. If both campaign A and campaign B have the same product in it, they're both set to low priority. Campaign A has a bid of $1. In B, the product has a bid of $2. Based on this information, the product is going to show from campaign B. So if the campaign priority levels are the same, whether they're both low, both medium, or both high, there's a product that's the same in each of them. The one with the higher bid is going to be the one that goes to auction. Now let's see how it affects the ad performance when we have different priority levels. So now campaign A has a priority level of medium. Campaign B is still at low. The bid is still $1 for campaign A, and it's still $2 for campaign B. But what happens here, even though the bid is lower for campaign A, because the priority level is higher, it's going to show from this campaign. If the priority level is higher, the bid is completely ignored, and the priority is what determines from which campaign your ad is eligible to show for that product. So a great way to make use of these is to make sure that you have maybe your top sellers, the ones that give you the most return in a higher priority campaign. A lot of different ways that you can utilize this feature. So now that we've gone through some of the campaign settings, the next thing you'll be asked to do in setting up your campaigns is to just set your ad group settings. So you'll need to give your ad group a name, but what you can also do here when you're transitioning is to pull ad groups from an existing product listing ad campaign. So if you are already currently running product listing ad campaigns and you don't want to go through all the trouble of having to set it all up again, you can just choose to base ad groups off of one of your regular product listing ad campaigns. It'll move all of them over. And just like with the normal product listing ads, you can also enter a promotion to show with your ads in this box here. There's only one promotion available per ad group, so just keep that in mind. After setting your ad group settings, this is where you're going to come in and start to create your product groups. So as I mentioned, when you create a product group or a campaign, if you don't set a product inventory, then your campaign is going to be eligible to show all products. And you'll see that right here. So right now, all products in my feed can show in this campaign. But what you want to do is create segmentation so that you can control bids and budget for different products. If you click on this plus sign here, this will allow you to subdivide your products by these 6 different categories. So you can do product category, product type, brand of your products, condition, the item ID, or any of those custom labels that you have set up. So based on any of this data, you can start to segment your product groups and bid on them differently. Now, when you subdivide your product groups, you're going to see here, this is the original all products. I added brand X as a product group, and then we get this everything else group. So it's basically saying, I want this campaign to target all products, but I have a separate product group for brand X, and then anything that's not in brand X is down here. So what you can do when you segment your product groupings this way is click on either of these bids and you'll get this pop-up box. So when you segment by product group, you can then choose to bid differently on different product groups, or you can choose to exclude. So let's say that I wanted this campaign to only target brand X. I can bid whatever I want on brand X, and then for the everything else category, I can just hit excluded. Then I know that this campaign is only going to be showing product listing ads for products that are of that brand X category. Now you don't have to just stop with one level deep of your drill down. You can actually go down 7 levels of product attributes deep. I wouldn't necessarily recommend starting off this way, but this is the amount of control that it gives you. So for example, you could say I want that campaign to target all products. But I know that the sporting goods category does a little bit better this time of year, so I want to bid a little bit higher on it. But running shoes are really popular, so I'm going to increase my bid for running shoes specifically for that category even more. Of those running shoes though, brand X is definitely the one that has the higher return. So let's bid higher on brand X. I have custom labels in there for best sellers. So my best sellers of brand X, I want to bid even higher. And then let's say there's one brand X running shoe that just outperforms all of the rest. So let's drill down even further and set a $2 bid for just that one item. So that's how you can get down really deep and have a lot of control over the bids that you set based on the product attributes that you have laid out. So that is a quick introduction to how to set up your shopping campaigns and some of the differences that you'll need to know between product listing ad and shopping campaigns. Our training on this will be rolling out at the end of July and in August, just to make sure that everybody is up to date and ready for this transition. You can register here at this URL. And what this class will cover, it'll be a 3-hour course starting from the very beginning. So what is Google Shopping? What are product listing ads? Again, going through this transition that's going to be happening in August. A major point is going to be how to make sure that you're optimizing your product feed. So how do you set up Google Merchant? How do you get a product feed? How do you optimize your product feed? And that's a huge part of this because all of the choices that AdWords makes in determining when to show your product listing ads come from your product feed. And then the last portion of the training will go through managing and optimizing your shopping campaigns. We'll also talk a little bit about some more advanced features that can show with your ads, such as promotion, Google Trusted Stores, and we'll also talk a little bit about the local product feeds that can be available to advertisers. So if you're interested, please sign up at, again, this link right here. And you can also check out our other live in-person courses and our other online courses at training.cardinalpath.com.